All right, joining us now, Lisa, thank you. Virginia Congressman James Walkinshaw. He's a member of the House Oversight Committee that is deposing Secretary Clinton. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us. Can you give us a sense, or can you give us what Hillary Clinton is currently being asked?
Well, I can't get into the specifics of the deposition. I can say this. We spent hours here this morning. I don't think it's been a great use of the committee's time. We've confirmed what I think we already knew, which is that Secretary Clinton had no relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, no relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, no knowledge of their crimes. And we've spent a lot of time today asking the same questions using different words, all confirming the same thing. She's not someone who has information that's valuable to our investigation.
So it's been 2.5 hours, again, approaching 3 hours. You're telling me that it's been the same 4 questions over and over again?
It's been a similar pattern of asking the same questions in different ways, again and again, related to, does she have a relationship with Epstein? She does not. Did she have a relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell? She does not. Does she have knowledge of the crimes? She does not. She laid all that out in her opening statement. I'm not sharing anything that wasn't included in that opening statement. Nothing that I've heard today has changed my perspective on that.
Do you get a sense, and I know you're constrained by the rules of the committee, even though those rules, by the way, were broken by Lauren Boebert, who gave a podcaster an image of the secretary testifying, according to that podcaster. I know you're constrained by rules, but can you tell me if a lot of the questioning centers around her husband?
I don't want to get into specific questions that have been asked. I will say this. From my perspective, the only person who should answer for President Clinton's actions or behavior is President Clinton. And to ask a spouse, any spouse, to answer for their spouse's actions or behavior, I just think is inappropriate. So there will be questions about that asked tomorrow, I'm sure, when we depose President Clinton.
What should happen to Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who, again, gave that photo to the podcaster, according to the podcaster?
Well, look, it was really disappointing to see the rules and the agreement broken in that way. I think it unfortunately confirms the suspicion that a lot of us had that this deposition today of Secretary Clinton was more about embarrassing her, or perhaps scoring political points, than it was advancing what should be a bipartisan investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes to get transparency and accountability for the survivors. So Chairman Comer will have to decide what, if any, repercussions there are from that violation of the rules. But I think the damage is, once again, the credibility of the majority in this committee. That credibility has been damaged.
What was the secretary's reaction?
Well, I think understandably, the secretary was extraordinarily frustrated. You know, there was a painstaking agreement made in good faith around the rules. She had repeatedly and has repeatedly called for this conversation to take place in public, in the open, so the media and the world can see it, and there isn't selective leaking of information or of images. So she was extraordinarily frustrated, understandably.
Congressman Comer, the chair of the committee, says that they are being bipartisan. They've interviewed Bill Barr. They've interviewed Alex Acosta, 2 former members of Donald Trump's administration from the first time around. Do you believe that Chairman Comer and the Republicans want to get to the bottom of this?
Well, I certainly hope that they do. Look, I think they feel constrained. They don't want to cross Donald Trump. And I think the question for all of us who are members of Congress here is, are we going to prioritize the survivors and victims that are calling for us to push for transparency and accountability, whether individuals happen to be Democrats or Republicans? Are you going to prioritize that, or are you going to prioritize Donald Trump not wanting to be incriminated or embarrassed? Given what we know about Howard Lutnick lying to the country, lying to his boss, Donald Trump, about his relationship with Epstein, he should be coming before the committee. Howard Lutnick should be coming before the committee. Donald Trump is in the files tens of thousands of times, including very serious allegations, with files that we now know have been removed or covered up, he should be coming before the committee to answer questions under oath. Democrats, Republicans, independents, it shouldn't matter.
If Democrats get control of the House, will you be subpoenaing the president?
Well, I think Chairman Comer has set a precedent here that not only do we subpoena former presidents, but if those former presidents don't show up at the time, date, place, and under the circumstances that we dictate, not only will we bring them in and ask them to testify under oath, that we'll threaten to put them in jail. That's the precedent that Chairman Comer set. I hope if Democrats are in the majority, we'll be less focused on putting folks in jail and more focused on getting the truth, getting the answers.
So is that a yes?
I think that's very likely. Look, I hope that it happens now. There's no reason that President Trump couldn't come in and testify under oath voluntarily to the Oversight Committee. He doesn't have to be a former president to do it. Sitting presidents have testified before Congress and answered questions before Congress before. There's no reason he couldn't do it now. I don't think he will, but there's no reason that he couldn't.
Congressman Walkinshaw, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.